Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Sunday night live stream. You're joining me as we are going to be building some Feudal Guardsmen as voted for by you guys. So thank you very much for everyone who voted in the poll. And if you didn't, then don't worry. You're here now. Not all that matters. So if you joined last week's kit bashing stream, then you will know that we basically did a kind of community kit bash. We worked on a kit bash together. And we kind of come up with some ideas and we built it along as we're going along. I had an idea already of what I was going to do. So this is basically the same kind of thing. And we're going to be doing some Feudal Guard. So hello to everyone in the chat. There's still quite a few people already in here, actually. Quite 200 concurrent viewers at the moment. So hello to everyone who's watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Twitch. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. So, Feudal Guard. One of the first things I wanted to do is to come up with a homebrew name, and one of the things that I like to do is to use things the realm of plastic name generators. There's lots of different ones for different things, so we're basically going to be using the Astra Militarum name generator. So you basically just go on there and you just kind of generate a name. You just get lots of different names. So we're going to go through them, and I'm going to stop when I find a nice one. Again, we're looking for like a Feudal Guard style here, so let's go through. Minite Dropship Signs, no, a bit too futurist. Granophyllite Omega Raiders, these are really ornate. Mapandan Gamma Blades, a bit too techy. The Honoured Vanquishers of Heredlius. Now, I do like that name, but I'm struggling to pronounce the last one. The Honoured Vanquishers of Heredlius. No, I do like that one. Waste Legion of Avar. This could take a long time, guys. Hawkforged. No. I'll know it when I see it. No. Hang on. There was one there. It says Noctis. I think if we could call them like the Honoured Vanquishers of Noctis. There we go. Praetorian Regiment of Salis. Perfect. That's what we're going for, guys. Right. We're going to go for the Praetorian Regiment of Salis. I'm going to take a screenshot of that because I can guarantee that I'll forget the name. I can remember how to take a screen. There we go. Okay, so I've got that locked in now. Praetorian Regiment of Salis. Okay, so I'm actually really glad that everyone voted for Feudal Guard because I've been wanting to do some of these guys for a while. I have a whole host of I think someone just said change the name to Dave, the Honoured Vanquishers of Dave. Yes, that would be good. So someone in the chat earlier, before I joined, said that taking bets on how long it takes me to actually start some kit bashing and not get distracted. So I'm going to do it straight away. We're going to start straight away. So the kits that I'm going to be using as a basis are some of these Fireforge Games ones. Now, I have used these in the past. I used some of the cavalry, but I actually really like the infantry, and I like to do. They're really great for Feudal Guard. So these are from their Forgotten World, and if you watch Game of Thrones, then you know exactly where they've got the stylings for these guys from. I mean, right down to the House Stark kind of thing. So I really like the style. They're actually nicely sized for Astra Militarum as well. So if I just grab a sprue, we can see what I mean. Yeah, some torsos on there. So if I grab some Imperial Guard legs, you can see they are literally spot on the correct scale. They are perfect. They are absolutely great for 28mm kind of scaled 40k. So yeah, we're gonna go for these as a basis. I think that gives us a really nice Feudal Guard. Now the thing is about doing this conversion is that we are going to want to incorporate some Imperial Guard regiments, and we're also going to want to incorporate that feudal aspect, so it's kind of balancing between the two. We can't just have swords and shields, we've got to have lasguns, we've got to have some sort of sci-fi in there. So let's grab, I can't remember what these sprues are like. Is it the same sprue? No, it's a different sprue. Yeah, okay. Let's grab a couple of those sprues out. They also do like bowmen and all sorts of other stuff. The bowmen are quite nice as well. You can see that. So yeah, that's if you're interested in getting these, is just Forgotten World Northern Bowmen. Quite nice little sets. There's not loads, there's only like 12 miniatures in each set, so it's basically like buying a squad of guardsmen. Okay, so we've got the basis for these guys. So that's the basis of the model decided. That gives us that really nice kind of feudal aspect. And let's look at. I'm missing the comments already. Let's speak to people in the comments. Praetorians of bits box from Tiger Sympathizer. Praetorian peasant men arms used to be a good source of bits for more gritty kind of... Yes, I have really wanted to get my hands on some of those sets, but the only time I've ever seen them is on eBay for ridiculous prices. So I would like to have some of those in the... Yes, it was Heated Pete. That was the person who kind of throwed some shade on me then at the beginning of the... before the stream had even started. I was getting personally attacked. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Lasbos, very nice. I like the idea of that. That wouldn't surprise me with 40k at all. Okay, so we're going to use these bodies. Now, I'm not sure about the torsos. I'm wondering if I can kind of... I think they're a little bit too bottom heavy. I think I'm going to have to use the torsos that come with these. Now, the problem I might have to get is just adjusting the last gun arm, so we'll see. So we're going to start off with these. Now, we might actually be able to get painting done in this stream as well, or things... About a 2 hour stream, yeah, should be able to do something. So this is going to be the basis. We're going to use these. We're going to use these for the legs, and we're going to use these for the torsos. So we still need a head, and we still need weapons. So I've got my regular Imperial Guard Cadians here, but we actually have quite a few bits and bobs lying around. So I'm going to try a few different things out and see what works. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Right, what do I have first? I've got some Tempestus Scions. Now, my initial assessment is that these might be a little bit too ornate unless we specifically decide to go down that path. So I think scaling-wise, we're looking okay. Scaling's fine. It kind of gives them a little bit of an armoured appearance, but yeah. Okay, that could work. We need some... If we go for hotshot lasguns, then we're going to need to incorporate the backpacks as well, or at least cut off these pipes. That's the only thing about that. Okay, that's an option. Let's go just grab ourselves some lasgun arms. I think they're in a box over here, so bear with me. I'm currently completely surrounded with all my bits box, just in case there was a component in an obscure box that I'd need, and so I wouldn't need to go out and... Okay. Perfect. Sprues galore here tonight. Chris Lovett, ornate command squad veterans. Yeah, we could do that. Might be a bit more of like a nicer one-off model to do. Las Spears, I believe. Talon used these with 40k cavalry. Yes, they used to use like explosive tipped spears, if I remember rightly. Yeah, Las Spears, quite a nice idea. So let's look at these guardsmen on. I don't want to just go just stick some of these on here. We'll have to see. Peter Warmate, is this going to be in the style of the Maker's Cult Feudal Guard by any chance? I have looked at those guys before. I think I did get some of those STL files previously. I'm not going for the exact same kind of thing, but I'm going to go for something similar. I think I'm going to get some Sallet Hounds. I've got some great swords nearby, so I might use some helmets from there. We'll see. So if I remember rightly, these actually work quite nicely together. I've tried these out before, so I'm going to grab one of these last guns off because we can make modifications to the last gun. We just need the basic frame. So let's clip one of those away. So whilst I'm doing this, I want the chat to come up with some background for these guys, because we haven't actually got any background for them. We've got a name, and I forgot it already. Is it the Praetorian Regiment of Salis? Praetorian Regiment of Salis. So you guys need to come up with some background. I'm sure there'll be the jokers among you which say that they're basically, I don't know, moisture farmers or something like that. So, but yeah, I'm looking for some nice background we can build upon for that. Some aspects. They're definitely feudal. We already know that about them. Loyalists as well. They're not renegade. Completely loyalist. These guys are. Okay. Okay, it gives us a nice starting point, and I think these arms should fit nicely. Yeah, so if we just get some blue tack here. I'm just going to do a little bit of a dry fit, just because when I'm kit bashing like this, sometimes it's hard to see how things are going to look together. So a little bit of like blue tack or kind of putty that doesn't dry is quite useful for this kind of work. You can just stick it on. Maybe twin stars. They are slightly more clothed versions of Catachans. I mean, to be fair, Death World's quite a nice idea. They could be like a feudal guard from a Death World. So you can see straight away the kind of problems that we're going to get from the fitting. If I bring this in, hopefully you can... Hopefully also focus will kick in. There's basically the torsos are slightly wider at the top, which means we're going to have to probably shave some back and make some adjustments. But that's the kind of thing that we're looking for at the moment. At the moment, I'm not happy with how big these shoulder pads are compared to how unarmored. They're a bit too original. So we need to make some changes there at least, hopefully. You can see it. The autofocus on this is fine over here, but then any closer it just dies. Okay. Okay, right. Whilst I am just leaving that to one side, I'm just going to grab my greatswords box. Which is somewhere nearby. Found it. Praetorian sounds very posh and elite, so I love the idea of them being more noble warriors of the feudal clans being sent to fight for the Imperium, only to be fed into the meat grinder. Yeah, that's quite nice, actually. I think Praetorian does have that kind of more of a elite aspect to him, which is hopefully what these greatsword boxes actually might help us with. So we have a greatsword torso. These are another great kit as well. It's just a shame you don't get that many of them for the price that you pay. So that's the only thing with these. So yeah, leading into what someone was saying. Who was it that said it before? Said something about Praetorian. Heat Praetorian sounds very passionately. Yeah. So Heat yeah, I quite like that idea actually. They were all underaged to be knight pilots, but there are only a few picked to actually pilot them. Yes, I'm liking that. Fits in nicely with the Praetorian sounds. So they're basically the house kind of scions. Yeah, that works nice. The Siege Tower, $5 US. Thank you very much. Private Guard of the Planetary Feudal Governor. Conscripted best fighters, enhanced by remnant of Space Marine Imperial Guard tech. Yes, quite nice. It works. It works quite nice, and yeah, this is good, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think what we're going to go for is we're definitely going to lean into that elite aspect, which means that these Imperial Guard arms can they can go off in the bits box. We're not going to go for them. We're going to go for something else. N random Sten, what's the body? It does not look Age of Sigmar. No, it's not. It is from this set here. It's the Northmen Warriors set from the Forgotten Worlds from Fireforge Games. I actually featured them in one of my Homebrewed chapters before. They have some cavalry, which is really nice for doing kind of Rough Rider conversions. So I'm still going to use these bodies. I like these bodies. They're a little bit more medieval. These are more of like kind of Renaissance, like land. I can never pronounce it. So if there's any Germans on the stream, I do apologize, but Landsknecht or Landsknecht, Sknecht. It's got a K in there. So I like the idea of having some items from these, but I don't want to go too heavy on these Empire, these Free Guild now, great swords. So I'm definitely going to borrow some kits, maybe some of the heads from here. I like that even being more of an elite guard. So we're going to stick with these bodies. There is a head in here, which is quite nice. Now I'm really tempted to just go around the typical aspect of having a... I really like the Salat Hound, but you only get like one of them in this set. And I don't want to use it on this. I want to save it for another conversion in the future. But I'm really in two minds. Do I use the Skitarii one? Do I use the Skitarii helmet? Because if I use the Skitarii one, it's great. It's got a tech aspect. Maybe a great sword body for the sergeant, and then less armor bodies for Fireforge for troops. Yep, could be. I think these kind of feudal guards, you can have unit leaders which have got a little bit Landsnecked. Peter Wargamer, what model would you recommend for converting a Night Lord? I would recommend that you go and check out my 5 ways to convert Night Lords video. That's what I would recommend you do. But no, I use regular Chaos Space Marines, and I basically stuck some vampire bits on there, some undead bits on there to make it look a little bit more Night Lordy. Colonist 05, just in the stream, what's happening? We are doing a community kit bash. We are building some feudal guard. We already have an idea, and I forgot the name. The Praetorian Guard of Praetorian Regiment of Salis. That's the name of the regiment we are building today. Okay, So, I think we're going to go for the bodies. We need a helmet. We're going to go for the elite style. And I'm kind of tempted to use... You know, do I actually have... Bear with me 1 second. This is my Empire Bits box. This has lots of arms in here that we could use. Maybe some like pistol arms. I actually got this on the last live stream. There's like random spaceballs in there. How does that look? Can we see that on the camera? Is it focused in? Yeah. There's a pistol outrider's head. I think that might work. I'm going to keep that to one side. It's a maybe pile for the time being. Right, what do we have in here? I do have some pistol arms in here, but whether or not I can get them out easily enough. I also have a handgun arms, actually. Now I'm really tempted to kind of make a tech version of these handguns. Interesting. I'm tempted to use that. The only thing is I've got to find the opposite arm for these if I do use them. Repeater rifle. It's a good option. Can I use one of these arms? I think I can. Looks nicely. Scatori pots would work well. Yes, they would do. The helmet from the old steam tank driver would be a nice one to use. Yes, I do actually have a steam tank kit, but I think it is in the garage, so there's not really any easy way of getting hold of that today. But yeah, that's a nice kit as well. It's another option. Another pistol ahead there. I think I've got the arm. I think I've got the arms that I need. We're going to upgrade some handguns. It kind of keeps in that feudal aspect. Just grab another arm just in case that doesn't work. Also have a pistol arm. I've lost it in. This is the most boring part of these streams, just me kind of wading through a bits box out off camera. So I'm going to do it on camera just so you can feel involved in the trials and tribulations of trying to find individual components inside a bits box. It's like ASMR enough for you. It's just on your channel, just ASMR bits box rustling. Where are my left arms gone? I must have used them all. Okay, that'll have to do. We'll work with it. What about a crossbow? Could do. What feudal kit are you using? Thinking of making my own feudal Renaissance Imperial Guard army. I am using the Northmen Warriors kit from Forgotten World by Fireforge Games. Okay, let's go for that one. Let's keep this box handy though. It's going to be useful for some of the components. But yeah, crossbow could work. That was another good idea actually. We could kind of make some sort of like weird last crossbow. It makes no sense from kind of an actual physical point of view. Like, why would you have the crossbow bars unless it was some sort of solid projectile? I don't know, but oh, pistol arms, perfect. Let's grab that. Okay, I can't see any more pistol arms there. That's the only thing. Ah, hang on. We have pistol arms. We can maybe use those matching ones as well. Okay. Right. Let's have a look at the chat. I've missed a little bit. What are some good third-party kits for vampire conversions? Third party. Not sure about that one, I'm afraid. People, do you intend to convert Solo Macarius? Yes, I do have an idea for him. I actually saw a really nice... I had an idea of using one of the kits from Blood Bowl Season 2, one of the new kind of human empire team. Using him as a basis and using kind of some... Someone actually has done one in one of the Facebook groups. And it came out really nicely, so I'm really tempted to actually go ahead and do it now. I only recently got the Blood Bowl Season 2 set. I was hoping for the teams to get released a bit sooner than they actually seems to be, so I just went out and bought the set because I wanted to do some Orc Commando conversions too. So yeah, maybe I'm tempted to do that guy. He's a very old model. I don't even think you can buy his model anymore. Shots fired at Chewbacca. Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is a strange one. You've got these guys running around with like laser swords that are basically dressed up as like monks. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. How about when the crossbows consist about? Okay, could work. I think there'd be quite a lot of work involved getting that cut down to a hand, but yeah, that might work nicely. All I see is true stuff in the chat. I hope you're building Star Wars themed gods. No, I just kind of took a pot shot at sci-fi crossbows. Basically, that was anything. Will you do a conversion for Gabriel Seth? Yeah, I am tempted. I would like to do one at some point, but it's just finding the right model for one. But yeah, maybe in the future. Colour scheme: pastel purple and dark yellow quartered. Yeah, very nice and kind of bright colours. Works very nice for Feudal Guards, as is very dark and grim, but you can do a combination of the two as well. Could we see a 5 ways to convert Chaos Space Marines Crimson Slaughter? I actually haven't done a 5 ways to convert video for a while. I kind of just do how to kit bash videos now, but yeah, maybe kind of like a bit of a different one. They're not like a Legion specific unit, so give it a little bit more of a... They're actually a Renegade chapter, aren't they, those guys? They're not a Renegade Legion. Okay, I'm just going to trim this up just so we have at least some sort of basis to build upon. I'm not going to glue anything just yet. Be the Wargamer, are you planning on doing any conversions with the Cursed City when released? Now, I'm in two minds about Cursed City because one of the things that I did very early in this channel's, when I think it was not long after I first started, I actually did some Warhammer Quest Silver Tower painting videos, and I'd love to do some more painting videos kind of going back to those old style ones that I used to do. But then I've also seen miniatures, and I thought, that Vargulf looks really nice as like a demon prince, like a Night Lord demon prince. So yeah, really am in two minds. And some of the characters have been really nice for, like, you could do like a futuristic witch hunter, and you could do rogue traders. You could do so many really cool stuff. So I'm really in two minds at the moment. I'm not sure. I probably end up having to just buy 2 kits. So just because I want to do some painting and I want to do some converting out of it as well. So we'll see. We'll see how much it is when it gets released. Maybe the patrons will help me out with that particular one. I've wanted to do both. Okay, those are cleaned up now. We can move on from them. Now, I'm not sure what to go for here, because I do like the idea of these pistol arms, because it does actually make it much easier for us to do the whole kind of... I don't have to do as much cutting as if I use these arms, but I still need to make these look a little bit more futuristic, a little bit more sci-fi. But then I also quite like the handgun arms, so I'm in two minds. So let's make a straw poll again. I did this last time; it worked okay. Let's make a quick Google form. I did this last time; it worked okay. So we'll see. We'll see how well it works today. We're going to do either. Are we going to go for handgun or pistols? Untitled form. Start a new one. Handguns or pistol. The last time I tried to do it in the actual chat, and it didn't work because by the time you're trying to count them, everyone is adding more options. So I just do this like handguns or pistols. Option 1, handgun. Option. Let me change it. Pistol. I'm going to add an other, just in case people want it to do. Okay, send. I need a link. Shorten URL. Thank you. Right, okay. It's going in the chat. Let's see what people say. How do I see results? Responses. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what people think. Pistols with underslung handguns. So we have, just to clarify, this is a handgun, these are the pistols. What are we going for? 1 response so far, handgun. 2 responses, both handguns. 9 responses now. It's handguns are in the, oh, it's 50-50 level pegging. Pistols are winning at the moment. This is like announcing a horse race. And we've got last crossbow adding in. There's a latecomer coming in. It's a plasma pistol. Handguns just creeping ahead. Last gun with a sheath greatsword on the back is crept in as well. Handgun still going. Ooh, what's the difference between a handgun and a pistol? This is the handgun. It's a handgunner basically. It's not really a handgun. It's kind of like an old-fashioned kind of rifle. And these are the pistols. These are the 2 options. I think it's gonna be a handgun, guys. It's massively in the lead at the moment. Yeah, okay, I think this is going to be definitely handguns. Okay, so I'll put those to one side. We'll do, and I do have an arm here, so I need to make sure that these arms line up properly first. This is going to be the first difficult task. So I'm going to shave this down, clean up all these mold lines. So thank you for everyone who voted. Okay. So I'm just thinking what else we can add to this guy. What else can we add as a nice... The options are 2 grey blurs. What is... The autofocus... There we go. Actually, it works there. If I do it like really high up, it seems to work better. There we go. I keep doing this off camera. Last week I actually had like a yellow tape marking out the kind of safe area that I could actually see on the camera, just so I didn't keep doing work off camera. But I didn't do that this week. Big Grey wins over Little Grey. Yeah. Big arm or little arm. I noticed that ordinary guardsmen hands are not suitable for free guild greatsword torsos. Just stopped at this moment. Your stream just in time. Very interesting and helpful. This is the thing. This is one of the biggest aspects of kit bashing. Everyone thinks it's about cutting components down and finding interesting uses for other components that they're not intended for. But honestly, the biggest part of kit bashing, the biggest problem I find, is getting stuff that fits into scale. Space Marines are easy because pretty much everything works. If you have a Space Marine, then you can use old Space Marine shoulder pads and hands and heads and it works fine, and all the other extra equipment works fine too. But as soon as you start going into territory of human-sized stuff, it gets very difficult because the scales are just a little bit odd and you have to make adjustments and trims and everything like that. Okay, so... Okay, I said okay about 10 times there. I need to make sure that these line up properly. We're going to use some of the blue tack again just to make sure, because I reckon we will need to adjust the torso. The torso is a little bit wider. I've actually had some free guild I did have some. I don't know where they've gone though. If I had them to hand, I could compare the bodies and get a better idea. I'll just have to wing it here, I'm afraid. So some equipment pouches, maybe from the Cadia sprues, and maybe some Purity seals. Yeah, I think we definitely need some more sci-fi aspects to these. Otherwise, it's just going to look like an Empire unit. I'm thinking about adding some more sci-fi aspects to the handgun. I'm thinking maybe some sort of last pouch. We'll see. Well, I mean, straight away that's going to need to be adjusted, because unless he's going bird shooting or something like that, then oh no. So we're going to need to adjust the angle there slightly. Okay, that's better. I think the trouble is with the original kit, the original handgunners kit, oh man, everything's going wrong. They're kind of leaning forward, all the models are, so you have this angling down, and it kind of faces down. You know what, this is not the right arm. Yeah, we have to find the arms. I should have cut them off in pairs, that would have made much more sense. Hang on. Okay, so these are slightly wider, considerably wider actually. We're going to need to adjust those. Yeah, they are considerably wider. That's probably not helping the situation. We're going to need to adjust the torsos first, so let's crack on with that first. Could someone please explain what defines feudal gods? So basically, what in the 40k universe, you have like a weird kind of mixture of different eras, because what happens is, because a lot of these countries and these worlds got cut off from the main kind of Imperium, what happens is some of them kind of devolved and lost a lot of their technology, and are now essentially, some of them are kind of primitive worlds, some of them have developed technology up to like a black powder level, some people have stayed technical. So usually what feudal guard means, it's from like a world they've been drafted from, maybe they don't have full on space travel technology, they have black powder weapons, they use melee weapons, things like that, and when they are recontacted by the Imperium, they have this new technology kind of thrust upon them, so they don't really change suddenly. They still have their same kind of aspects and mindsets, but they suddenly have suddenly been stuck on spaceships to fight across the galaxy. So I'm going to start off with a file here. I'm just going to try and trim this back down just to quickly reduce the width of this torso here. How about a laser sight on the rifle? Yep, could do. Okay, that is reducing it down, so we need to do the same for the other side. So like I said though, this is honestly one of the biggest things that you spend time doing with kit bashing. You spend most of your time just filing things down just to get things to fit properly. Okay, there's probably going to be some changes here as well, because this torso is slightly chunkier at the front too. So with an angle there as well, so we need to cut that angle out. Let's use the knife for that. Okay, let's see how we're looking so far. If we get these lining up, then that gives us much more. So you can see how the gun is kind of slightly pointing upwards still. So I have a choice. I can either adjust the arm and make it so that this top side here is removed a little bit, and that will kind of change the angle so that the gun will point downwards. Alternatively, I can do the same on the torso. So if I cut in the shoulder a bit, then that will force the angle of the arm downwards a bit. So I'm going to do that. Let's just cut the top here first. That will allow us to change the angle. And then, if we use the knife, we can flatten that back out. hopefully, if we're doing it properly. This should angle down now. There you go. So it's all about adjusting, making small adjustments, testing the fit, seeing how everything lines up. Because when you're doing this kind of work, you need to make sure that things are lining up. And you know that arm is completely wrong. That arm is not going to work for our needs. We might be able to get away with it. 1 second. Let's see if we can find the arm that I want in the various sprues that are around me at the moment. Perfect. So my thinking is, if we look at this arm here, this one with a hand, and then we look at this one here, they're not too dissimilar, except from this one has got the armor on it, and this is kind of like a nice asymmetrical armor design. So I could basically have this arm here holding the handgun, and I can kind of, by having the hand, I can actually just remove this hand here. It gives me a bit more room to play, like add a magazine, something like that, and then I can move this arm along a bit. So it kind of gives it a nice little, yeah, I'm going to try that. A little bit more freedom of pose. Just because I don't actually know where the other arm is that fits this handgun, and I can't really be able to go through the bits box. So by doing this, I can kind of make adjustments to this arm, and then the hand can go further up the barrel there as needed. Okay, so we need to remove this hand now. Currently painting a Primus Librarian in Phobos armor. Would it be heresy to paint his foresword as a power sword? I mean, not at all. I mean, anything you want to do, really. I mean, a foresword is pretty much the same as a power sword, because its power comes from the Psyker itself, rather than like an external power source, if I remember my lore correctly. I'm just going to clip that off rather than cutting it. I'm just going to slice my finger if I do it that way. So yeah, I think you paint it however you want. Just going to flatten this out again, so it looks like the hand was never there. That should give us a bit more freedom. Peter Wargamer, try Scutari Galvanic Rifles. Maybe someone already offered it. If you even want to try Great Swords, Torsos, I sold my Blanchett 2-star conversions with that detail. Yeah, so I have used them before, actually. They work really nicely for... they work really nicely, kind of feudal style ones. One of the ones that I did was my Vostrons video. I used those... I used the Galvanic Rifles and the other ones as well. I forgot what they're called now. The Scutari Vanguard weapons, and they worked really nicely. They're great for kind of third-party kits that have a similar style, because the arms are really nicely human scale. The only thing I wanted to avoid with those is that a lot of them have obviously augmentations and bionics and things like that, and I'm trying to keep things a little bit more organic here. Okay, so we've got a nice clean rifle there. Can we see it on the camera? There we go. Hands removed. So if I line this up, I'll get a bit of blue tack again. HTP, all power swords currently painted in the style that started roughly around the Grey Knights 5th edition with their Nemesis 4 swords. Painting a 4 sword in the same way style isn't heresy. Yeah, because 4 swords used to be like crazy colours. I remember like back in some of the original painted models and librarians and stuff like that, their colours were like, 4 sword colours were crazy compared to what we have now. So I'm just going to try out this fit here just to see if we need to. We probably will need to make adjustments, but it just gives us an idea. So far you can see that the hand and the arm is quite a way out, which means we basically need to try our best to bring this gun around this way, and then try our best to bring this arm in this way, so we can kind of see how it would be lining up. If you can see that there. Hopefully it focuses. Yeah, so you can see we need to bring this arm around a little bit more across the body, and then this arm needs to be brought in close to the body too. So we need to do those adjustments in the next. Put that. So the first thing to do to get this angled in a little bit more, I mean, we might just need to use some putty here. This might be the best way of doing this effectively. Just clean that up first. Hey Pete, what's your favourite Space Marine chapter? I really like Raptors. The Raptors are cool because they kind of have this whole kind of tactical aspect to them, which is what I like. It adds a bit more of a realism to them, I guess, which is what I quite like. Space Wolf Blade God Kit Bash helped a lot. Thank you for making it. You're very much welcome. I enjoyed making it. I'm glad to hear it's been useful. So I'm just cutting away some of this torso here just to make it... Why is the autofocus going on here? I'm going to hold it a little bit lower down. Can I adjust this camera, make it a bit lower? Let's see. This might work a bit better. I think I'm a little bit too high up. Let's bring it back a little bit this way. And... how's a focus? Still a bit soft. Let's raise it a little bit. That's better. Okay, I'll keep it that. I feel like everyone was really far away then. $10 to Space Wars. Sorry, sorry, Doc, Dual GM. What is the best kit for Power Spears, Games Workshop or not? Power Spears. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is probably more of a halberd than a spear, but probably the Nemesis Force weapons that the Grey Knights have. I'd say that they're probably the closest thing to a Power Spear that you're going to be getting. But you can quite easily change things up on the blades. You can probably swap them out for other spear-headed. It's like from... a lot of Age of Sigmar units have pretty cool spear blades, so you can probably swap it out of one of those and get keep the rest of the actual pole and just chop out the top. Chop out the top. There we go. Get wrecked. Hey Pete, just wondering if you do commissions. Would love to convert my chapter, but on a McFarlane model. Oh wow, one of the big guys. I haven't actually tried out a conversion for that one. I do commissions. If you're interested in commissions, then you can either drop me an email. But I do prefer to be contacted on Discord. Just it's easier to have a back and forth than it is over email. So if you're on YouTube, there should be the Discord link in the description. So join that, and you can drop me an email. Right, back to this. Let's see how we're going on here. So I'm slowly angling that in. You can see there's a lot of this chest here, which is basically getting in the way. So that's what we need to cut away here. Now, this kind of work is a little bit tricky because you need to make sure it's still not focusing. What is going on? Okay, I'll just hold it lower down. There we go, perfect. This is that really tedious kind of work, really. This little buckle's getting in the way now. But most of these kind of details you don't need to have, because normally this model would be featuring a... let's grab a file, rounded one. Would have more of an open pose. So obviously these chest details are more important for an open pose. But when you've got something like a weapon across the chest that's blocking a lot of the way, you don't need to worry too much. Let's grab the arm, see where we are. Okay, we're starting to line up a bit more. You can see I can just make some adjustments to this arm now, and that should be enough. So I'm going to cut off this section here, this kind of part of the upper arm. This should, hopefully, line everything up nicely. GIJS Gidge. How much would it cost if I convert a night level for a commission? Like I said, it does vary depending on what you want. So best thing to do is just drop me a message on Discord, and then we can kind of sort something out there if you would like a price. Give them some scrolls of paper. They're holding them before, either reading or offering to someone. Pose them contritely. The trouble is, the way I've actually got my camera set up at the moment, my computer screen that I'm actually streaming on is quite a distance away from the desk that I'm working on, simply because of, basically I'm working from home at the moment, so my work computer is set up on my hobby desk. So it's really difficult to make sure that everything, and I've got like, obviously, I can see the live stream from my end, but it's like running at a really low quality, so I'm just going to increase the quality there, because it's like on a really low one. I can keep an eye on things. Okay. So if I hold this about here, to me, this looks kind of like it's in focus. Yeah, it is in focus. So I'm just going to hold things quite low down, if that's what I need to do here, that's all. Okay, let's go back to this arm here. This is always the boring part of a kit bash, just getting the pose right. As soon as you get the pose right, you can add all the interesting, fun things to the model, like adornments and other items. It's nice, but I converted Skaven spears into power spears. Yeah, it could work actually quite nicely. They've got really nice long spear blades on them, so you could use them nicely. I think this. What's going on with this? The trouble is with this kind of camera is that it likes to just focus on whatever's the biggest area, and often that's the background. So I want it to focus about there. Seems to be on my screen now. Okay, so that seems to be a bit better. Right, let's put this in here. So that's lining up now. I might cut in a little bit more there just in case, and then the same thing here. Okay, that does seem to be focusing a bit better now. Okay, starting to see things lining up now. The trick is just little and often, just making small little changes, and then eventually the model will start looking like it's coming together a bit more. Still need to make some changes to this torso though, that's the only thing. Yeah, the camera does have the manual ability to be focused, but the trouble is because I'm doing kind of a lot of moving in and out. This isn't actually my camera that I'm using, it's my wife's camera at the moment that she uses for her videography. Mine is actually, I've got to put a hack on it to be able to stream from it, because I can't get rid of the preview window of like the focus box, so I need to put a hack on it. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. And it's got a really kind of shallow depth of field, so as soon as I adjust the position, it just decides to focus on something else. So hopefully I remember this week to try and get that focus off it. So I'm kind of getting to the point now where I just want to attach this arm just so that it's in place and I can work on it afterwards. Okay, I'm going to glue this in place. I can add some scopes to it afterwards. I'm not going to change too much of the actual gun itself, so we can come to this afterwards. Let's get some glue on this and just make it a bit easier to be able to work out exactly where I want the other arm to go. Still holding it a bit high. There we go. Might have some gaps to fill with this, but we can cross those bridges when I come to it. Just going to leave it to one side. So we need some bits now to change things up a little bit. So I'm thinking the Empire greatsword set might be quite a good one. We've got some blades. We have kind of some of these swords here. They're quite nice. But we do need some Imperial Guard. Like someone said before, actually, we need to have some Imperial Guard components. So if I have a look at the Tempesta Science kit, that might be a good option as well, because this one's got some more ornate detailing. We've got the things like these blades here. That might be nice. What else have we got? There's the second sprue. Grabbed it. What is a good glue to use? I typically do Citadel, but I think I'd run out frequently building a new guard army. So I use this plastic magic here. Oh, what is going on with this focus today? It's terrible. It's not even focusing on the desk that I've just got there. So I'm using plastic magic here. This is really nice kind of glue for this kind of work. It's mainly because it's got a little kind of brush applicator. I find it really helpful. You can get into hard to reach areas. Head's too big. So we need some techie bits on this one, otherwise it's going to look just like an Age of Sigmar conversion. So I think we're going to go for some of these pouches here, just because they have the Aquila on them. That's what we need. We also need some sci-fi techie bits on there as well. Let's put this to one side once it's done. Small little detail that we can use. Change things up a little bit. I'm just going to minimize this chat window actually. Okay. I think the rest will come from the Cadians through. Let's just grab a couple of pouches from the Cadians set. Where is the pouches now? There we go. We can pretty much just use these as they are. So there's not a bayonet on there, so we're going to use this one with the bayonet already in the scabbard. We can keep that one. So we've got 2 Aquilas now. So we have to tie it in, and we need some more kind of techie stuff. I might actually go for, let's grab up a Scutari bits box. Okay. So as people have said before, Scutari is really nice if you want to do some kind of techie, but then almost like a low-tech technical stuff. I think the backpacks might be a bit too much, but we might be able to find some little bits of equipment that we can probably use. Ah, hang on. What did I have there? What did I see? Might use some of these weapony bits on the gun actually. That would be a good option. What else have we got? Ah, there we go. That's what I wanted. And one of those. Perfect. So as you can see from the amount of bits and bobs that I've got on my desk at the moment, I have a lot of bits that I've just accumulated over the years. And whilst storing things in bits boxes is always a better solution just in terms of the amount of space that they take up, it's so much harder to find things. If you keep everything on the sprue, you know exactly what's on that sprue and you can find it much easier. My orc bits box is 8 times that big and filled to the brim. I used to have a really nice big orc bits box when I used to collect orcs years and years ago. But the truth is, what I did was I ended up selling off my orcs, and I just sold all the bits with them as well, because I thought, well, I'm not going to be into Warhammer anymore. And then, about 8 years later, I decided to... I'm basically running a YouTube channel that does kit bashing, and all those bits would have been really useful. So yeah, unfortunately, do regret that decision. I'm thinking about in this little bit here. This section would be quite nice to add in as a little bit of a... Technically, it might be a bit too big, that particular one might be, but maybe we can incorporate something like that. That might be a nice little option. Maybe, how's the autofocus working? Yeah, it's working okay, as far as I can tell. Maybe change the end as well. Thinking it's going to be... Let's remove some of these components first, and then we can go from there. So I'm going to use my knife just to separate this barrel. You could use one of the shields from either the Palanite Enforcers kit. Yeah, I could do, actually. That's a nice idea. Or the State Troops kit. Or would you sell orcs? Yeah, I know. I used to have quite a few of them as well. And they were all like painted up in... Oh, what's the clan name as well? Death Skulls, the blue ones, the ones that kind of use Imperial. The only actual models I've got left over from that, I have a few Burner Boys left over, and I have some kind of grot conversions that I made. So basically used some Empire Flagellants and gave them last guns, and basically said that they were kind of grot proxies, because not only do the Death Skulls loot equipment, they also loot people. So yeah, it's quite a little fun little early conversion that I did before. The thing is, I think that works actually. I don't think it looks too extreme. It kind of just adds a little bit more of like a sci-fi aspect to the gun. Can everyone see that there? So I think I'm going to do it. Normally I would do all this kind of work before I attach it to the torso, but for this torso I wanted to make sure that I got the arm positioning right, and sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. You need to make the adjustments. You need to make the adjustments after you've glued. Although, saying that, I've kind of really messed up here. Actually, that isn't not right at all. Oops. You know, I'm really not liking the idea of using this this gun now. I really changed my idea. I feel like I'm too far down the rabbit hole now. That's the only trouble. It's proving to be more difficult simply because I don't have the correct arm. And why do I want to use the Cadian gun now? What's the Cadian gun look like with that? That looks quite nice actually. Oh dear, I'm not sure now. I'm really in two minds. I'm not sure whether to switch over to the typical Cadian lasgun. This is the thing, whenever you see these live streams, one of the things that you don't actually see in my normal videos is you see all of the, you don't see the kind of the failed attempts and the models where I decided to change my mind half that I just cut those bits, and you know, it just looks like I did everything right the first time. But there's so much kind of back and forth on this. Is this even focusing? No, it's not again. Put my hand flat there. Let focus. Terrible focusing today. This is awful. It's like just watching everything blurry. What's going on? Can I adjust this? I am tempted just to turn off the autofocus for the time being, just because it is pretty terrible. It's spot focusing, that's why. Okay. I'm just going to keep an eye on that one. That's better. Okay. Right, so yeah, I'm in two minds now. So take a last gun and a blunderbuss like Muzzle could do. I have to say, Pete, thanks for your conversion videos, very inspiring. Thank you very much, Shadow Sketch. Refer 40k orcs to other orcs. Nice idea. High on Paint, you're planning on making updated orcs, something like Scarboys, or not planned. So yeah, I was planning on making some orc conversions at some point. I would like to do some commandos. I would also like to do some clan specific stuff in the future. That would be nice. Have you got any Adeptus Titanicus upgrade sprues? They make great large weapons for vehicles, and then night parts make great prosthetics. I haven't actually. I have actually been wondering about how I could incorporate it. I need to buy one of the sets, because again, this is one of those things where I'm not too sure about the scale. Until you actually have the components in your hand, it's very difficult to see exactly what works and what doesn't. So yeah, maybe. Okay, I think I'm going to scrap the idea of this just because it's not working out, to be honest. And oh, it's still got blue tack on it. That's why it's not fitting. And yeah, I think I've tried to use these in the past, and because they're very specific to a torso, they don't work particularly well. But hopefully, the adjustments I've already made, it makes it perfect for the last gun. We're going to go for the last gun. We're going to make it look feudal. That's what we're going to do. I've changed my mind. We're going to go for the basic last gun. We're going to swap it out. We're going to add some new muzzles. We're going to cut bits off. We're going to make it work. What brand brushes do you use? So I actually use a mixture, really. I use some Redgrass Games ones, and I also use a lot of Army Painter ones. I quite like to use the Regiment brush. And really, with kind of paintbrushes, as long as you look after them, most brushes tend to be okay. I think for some of my recent videos, I think for the whole of, I'd say almost the whole of the Vampire Lord model that I painted was painted with this brush. Just this one here, this Army Painter Regiment one. You can see I've used a lot because it's all kind of faded away. But yeah, I just use some brush cleaner on there and it works nicely. So yeah, don't worry too much about the brushes you use. There's a lot of kind of focus on, oh yeah, you use these really expensive ones. And in the past, I've fallen into that same trap. I've used expensive brushes, but most of the time, the Army Painter brand ones are fine. You don't need to worry about particular ones. You just need to basically just look after them, and they'll stay nice for a while. So as long as I keep my hands here, it seems to retain focus, as far as I can tell. At least on my monitor it is, anyway. Okay, that's one arm. Do the second arm here. I mean, I was going to use this arm anyway, so I might just use the whole last gun. If I was going to use one Cadian arm. Just need to add some extra bits to it, just so it looks different from a regular Imperial Guardsman, a regular Cadian. But that shouldn't be too difficult. There's a lot of components in my Empire bit that I can stick on, like feathers and kind of flagellant bits as well. Okay. So before we glue this on, I think this is already going to be fitting nicely. The only thing I needed to do here was maybe to adjust the width of the torso, and I think that's already been done now. So shave that off a little bit just so it's a nice clean surface to glue back on again. Perfect. I wanted to use the Squid One ones for a while now, but $66 for is a lot for a few brushes. Yeah, it's like it's a very difficult one, because I think a lot of people who sell these brushes will always say, "Oh yeah, go for the best brushes. They're what the pros use." And yeah, I mean, I have used expensive brushes. I've gone back and forth between using them, and I've found that pretty much the Army Painter Regiment brush does most of what I need. I use the Regiment brush for pretty much everything. I use it for highlighting. I use it for... The only thing I use a different one is I will swap out to an older Regiment brush if I'm doing things like washes or metallics, just so it keeps that nice fine point. But as long as you use things like Master's Brush Cleaner, I buy a pot of this every like 4 years or something stupid, and it's just like a cleaner and conditioner. So I use it in there, just clean the brushes, and then afterwards, find the brush again. Just put a little bit on the tip, and it kind of makes it like a solid tip then, and it just helps protect it, and it helps to condition the brush as well. So that's what we need. If you have some spare medieval armor bits, you could add a shoulder pauldron. Could help the feudal theme. Only get good brushes if you're a good painter. Otherwise, it's burning money. Yeah, I think I totally agree. I think if you, a lot of people will think, oh, the reason why I'm not painting well is because the reason why I'm not painting well, but these expert painters are painting well, is because they use really nice brushes. And it's like, I mean, no, they're great painters anyway, and they could paint great with some synthetic brush that they bought from a stationer's. And I think a lot of people end up falling into the trap of being like, oh, it's an expensive brush, it must make me painting well, or they're not. These guys have just been painting for years, and they're just like massively high quality painters. You don't need expensive brushes unless you're like really at that top level, that Golden Demon level. Army painted brushes are fine. I think even to a certain degree, just general brushes that you can buy. I won't even buy Games Workshop brushes because they're overpriced and they fall apart. Okay, so we need some ideas for this now. Now I've gone on a rant about paintbrushes. Chinum, I just ordered that cleaner conditioner. I'm preparing to start with the hobby. Yes, it's a good option to go for that paint cleaner, in my opinion, that paintbrush cleaner. Just because it keeps the brushes alive for longer. So for the amount of money that you actually spend on there, you might as well just keep using it, and it keeps the brushes nice. Does it work for mustaches too? I mean, it may do. Never tried it, but yeah, maybe. You can just use soap for that. You can use soap for that. You can use soap for a lot of things. I think you can use like hair conditioners and stuff like that and brushes. Some people use shampoo and things like that. I haven't used it myself. I've always used brush cleaner because my dad's paints and he's used stuff like that. So yeah, it's just kind of what I ended up using. Okay, so we've got the gun. I actually really like the idea of using this, but then it kind of gives it a bit more of a futuristic appearance. It's not what I want. I need more of a... Where is the Scutari bits? I might be able to use something from there. Let's grab that. Dr. Fruit Salad PhD, brush control is greater than brush quality. Yes, totally agree. Same with paints as well. Paints will help you to a certain degree, but someone who's a really good painter can paint with pretty much anything. They can paint with 3 colours and mix everything up themselves. You don't need to have the exact paint for everything. You can just mix things if you need them. So I ended up going for the Scutari weapon in the end anyway. So I'm 2 minds there. I'm thinking of going for the Scutari rifle end, but then the alternative to that is going for something like that kind of elongated kind of pistol. I think hopefully I'm gonna put this here so we can see, and I'm gonna put the spot focus on. Hopefully that'll work. If I do it on my thumbnail, so I'm not sure which to go for the end. Galvanic rifle or the pistol end. They're both very similar, to be honest. They both kind of have the same kind of aesthetic. This is obviously more recognisable as being Scutari, but... Does your dad paint Warhammer? No, he doesn't paint Warhammer. He paints, like, landscapes and stuff like that. He's, like, old school painting, I'm afraid. He's never painted any Warhammer. I've never asked him to, or maybe I should do at some point. That'd be quite cool. He built himself, like, an art studio in his garden recently. So... I meant soap for a beard. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you can use. I think you can use regular soap, but I've seen people using shampoo and like hair conditioner and things like that for it. So yeah, I think it does work. Okay, it's far left, our left. So I think which one's that one now? Is that the... Let's go for this one. Let's make it like a long rifle. I think... Is that too long? Let's go for there. I'm going to make a cut just at this point here, just behind there. And we can always cut it back if we need to. So let's just remove any more lines from that to begin with. Yeah, I think going back to what I was saying before, I think you can use like regular, because at the end of the day, if you're using real like actual hair brushes, then they work the same as actual hair. You need to kind of make sure they're cleaned properly, and you kind of put the oils back in the hair, which keeps them nice and supple. But the only thing I would think about using shampoo and more of like cleaners for your actual hairs, a lot of them can leave residues in there, and you don't want that to happen because it can get in your paint, it can ruin the effect of the paint, it can stop it from drying, you don't know what it's going to do. So if you use a brush cleaner, you know that the brush cleaner is actually designed for the painting in mind, so it should be fairly compatible with painting. That would be the only reason why I wouldn't want to use any non-brush related items, personally. Okay. Okay, let's go for that so far. I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to add that on, and I might add a bayonet underneath just to make it a bit more, just to bulk out the end of the rifle. People will go, he paints the mini, you paint a landscape. Oh man, that'd be pretty terrible, to be honest. I did used to do stuff when I was younger, but I haven't really painted anything like that for a long time. If it's not got explosions and guns in it, then I can't really paint it, I'm afraid. Okay, I'm just going to try and get this as flat as possible. I would pin this normally, just because it's kind of... protruding quite a bit from the main weapon, but for the purposes of a live stream, kind of a concept for this kind of thing, we just want to make sure it fits on. So I'm going to glue that just yet, actually. Let's see what else we can add to this weapon, just to make it a little bit more, a little bit less modern. So one of the things I do actually like is the kind of the old style scopes, like sniper scopes. So they really like a long, actually put that in shot, there we go. Kind of like a really long, thin scope. So that might actually do something. I actually have some plasticard rods somewhere. I could use that. Last gun with musket barrel bayonet and cut off the magazine and make it look as a bolt action. Yeah, quite. Well, actually would work. It would narrow down the profile of the weapon, so I could just chop that bit off. Yeah, I might do that as well, actually. So, what do I have here? That was a bit too thick. Yeah, it's far too thick. Yeah, that works. Have I got a one that's slightly in between, actually? If I have, then that'll be helpful. Alcatraz252 finally got here while you're alive. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you finally managed to join. And it's the trouble with doing live streams, because I'm not sure how good YouTube is at informing people that I'm doing them, but I don't want to kind of pester people too early by having an announcement too early in the evening that I'm doing one. Yeah, that'll work. So what I'm going to do here, just while something, just gonna work. I'm going to actually have like a, so it would be, if it was a sniper scope, it would be on the inside, wouldn't it? It'd be kind of more there, I'd say. Yeah. I'm going to cut a small length of this off. I'm going to trim that end here, just so it's flat. Put a crossbow head on the end, less modern. Could do, yeah. We could go full circle back to Chewbacca's bolt caster. Okay. So I'm going to use this here just as a way to cap off each end. So I'm just going to trim that slightly off and left there. Should offset the scope. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing actually. If you look at the old I forgot what it is. I think it's the Springfield has a very similar scope, the kind of the World War II American rifle. It has like a very long, kind of thin, narrow scope, and it's kind of offset to one side. I think the Enfield scope did it. I think a lot of bolt action rifles did, just because it was easy, just to kind of retain the magazine loading. Because if you've got a scope above, you have to individually feed load rounds. But if you've got it offset, then you can have one of the stripper clips and just pop those down. This is out of focus. Okay. It's like the most rudimentary scope ever, but I'm just going to explain it away with the fact that this is a feudal guard, so of course it's going to be basic. You ever heard of Gaslands? I have heard of Gaslands. That's a little kind of a car game where people like kit bash their own little post-apocalyptic cars. I have heard of it, yeah. Okay, there's the scope. I'm just going to leave that to dry for a second. Where's my tweezers? The Grand also has offset scopes. Yeah, I think a lot of anything that basically doesn't have like a magazine, kind of needs to be offset, just so that you can actually load ammunition into it more than one round at a time. Okay, so I think that works. There's like a really rudimentary scope. It's like just plasticard. Put that like there. Yeah, that works. Let's go to now. Actually, before I do that, I'll put that with the new muzzle and barrel. We're going to remove this. Someone suggested that and actually really liked the idea, so it's going to change the profile of the weapon. It's going to make it look a little bit more narrow, make it a little bit more different from the standard pattern last gun. Oops. Yeah, I'm quite liking how this is turning out so far, actually. The only thing I would do if I had a bit more time was maybe kind of fill in the stock here, maybe fill it in with a bit more green stuff, just make it a full, like a wooden stock rather than this kind of metal or composite kind of style. So hopefully this still fits against the body, actually, now I've done that. Hopefully it will. Yeah, just about. I might angle it a little bit further forward, just so we're guaranteed. Carve wood grain. I could do, yeah. I think, to be honest, I've done it in the past with some Imperial Guardsmen where I've painted the wood grain on, and it actually works quite nicely. So it's not perfect, but I think as a basic kind of feudal style, it has like a bit of a carbine-y aspect to it because it's got like a narrow body. It kind of tapers off at the end. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's not bad. Let's get the spot focus working. Hopefully it works. There we go. Okay, so it's 20 past 8, and all I've done is build the rifle and adjust the body slightly. So let's get the rifle attached to the torso now. This is the way these streams go. It takes me about an hour to do one small aspect of the model, and then the rest of the model is done in like 10 minutes. Such bad planning. To be fair, actually, with this conversion, I didn't actually know what I was going for going into this conversion. Now, hopefully, the problem that I've just noticed there is the head. Hopefully, the head won't get in the way too much. Fingers crossed. And the arm isn't fitting. What a surprise. Need to make an adjustment. So what happens when you don't test fit kids. I'm going to fix it though. Do you have a Queen's God? I do actually have. I do have some of the bear skins. I have some on. Oh no, I don't actually have any to hand. No, tell I do actually have some. I'm not sure if it'll work though. It might. This from the old Grognard kit. I might actually have some. If you bear with me, I do actually have some tricorn heads actually. I'll sit this arm on and then I'll go and have a look to see if I've got it handy. There we go. Look, we fixed it almost. Almost. Apologies to anyone who hates that sound. You can't be a kit basher if you're not used to the sound of a knife scraping on plastic. Okay. There we go. We have a torso with a weapon. There we go. When you don't test fit kids, or when you don't test fit... when you don't test fit / kids. There we go. Okay. Ben Ives, really brightens my Sundays, your streams. Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to feel good about yourself, then you just watch my stream and just watch all the mistakes that I make kit bashing. So I'm just going to take a quick break there, just whilst I have a think about what to do next. So I need a head so far. I need some extra bits. I've already got a few extra bits picked out here that I could use. So that's not a problem. But we need a head. We need something which is nice. I think you should have a Lumineth helmet. Actually, do I have any to hand? I did have a sprue to hand earlier. Don't think I do any more though. That's the only thing. No, unfortunately, I don't actually have a sprue to hand. But let me find one. So I forgot that I actually had this to hand. So if you've seen my Vossering guide, I used the original Grognard. Or it's not Grognard, is it? It's called I don't know. I can't remember how it's pronounced if you're French. Gronard. Le Grenard. There we go. But they actually released a command and heavy support set, which comes with like a few options for command units and heavy weapons, things like that. It's quite a nice actual kit, and I haven't actually a chance to take a proper look in this one yet, actually. They remove their heads to show faith in the Emperor. Yeah, you'd have to have some pretty good faith in the Emperor. So luckily, this set actually comes with the head sprue from the Grognard kit, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to call it Grognard, even if it isn't. So the only thing is, I think some of the bearskin ones might... You know what? They actually might work. We want to go with a beard. Someone keeps saying, do the beard one, so let's see. And then probably need to cut his neck down a little bit, but actually... Oh, it's not focused. Okay. There we go. What do you think of that one? Grunier. Okay, thank you, Vega. Cadge, thank you very much. Do a Skaven head, could do. Also, you missed the bayonet. Yeah, I did miss the bayonet, but I think it's okay without it. I might add one on. We'll see. Chaos Terminator head might be a bit too big, I'm afraid. So I'm just waiting for the stream chat to catch up, because at the moment it's like I just sit here for 10 minutes. Ping pong as a sport of the gods. Thank you for your input, Ben Ives. Really helping me choose a head here. I quite like it. It fits nicely with the whole kind of... They're not as much as feudal as I thought they would be. The alternative heads that I've got in here are... There was an alternative head that I'd seen. You know, I should have used a kit to begin with, because look, it's got like basically the same weapon that I've just built here. I should just use the sniper weapon from here. Here we go. This has got like some really nice like tricorn hats in there. You can see them there. There's that side one, and then there's like these like mega like Napoleonic style ones. They're pretty cool. Looks like a pirate now. Oh no, I'm really tempted to use these. What do you guys think? I would say the head is feudal. Yeah, I know, it's kind of... It's a difficult one, really, because... Outrider's head. Do I have an Outrider's head? I have some Pistolers heads. Is that head? That might work. I think we're still in focus, yeah. So it's a Pistolers head. I think that fits the theme. Let me grab the bits box. I don't know if I've actually got any... Outrider heads, because I use them on other conversions. Use a tricorn knight head to make crusade. Just use a skull. Use a skull. The alternative is using the typical kind of... I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit overused, but it does work though. The reason why it's overused is because it works. And that's the Salis helmet from the Scutari head. You see that one? That one hits pretty good for this kind of work. It has that kind of tech aspect to it, but then also should have one in here spare somewhere. I don't just pour them all over the floor. So for example, that one, that's the alternative one. It's another alternative. Obviously I need to adjust this considerably. Okay, I'm going to make another poll for this one, because I think there's a lot of conflicting points. I'm just going to empty those back in. Scarred Caning Commando. I actually don't think I've got that one. That would have been a really nice one to use. The one with the, I think the one that's got like the haircut, the really kind of shaved at the side haircut. Okay, I'm going to make a poll. So the options that we have here are the bearskin, the Pistoler's head, or the Scutari head, because I actually don't have much in the way. Or, actually, the third option is these heads here, so let's just stick that in there. And I'll get the focus on them so we can see them. Let's go in the center of the frame. There we go. So let's make a pawn. Let's quickly make a pawn. Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. Sculpture and head style. We might be waiting a long time if we want to do a new head style, I'm afraid, guys. Okay, let's go back. Let's create a new form. I'm getting really good at making like quick forms now. Blank form. Head. Head. So Scutari. Pistola. Bearskin. Finally, I was going to call it Feudal. That helmet's the Feudal one. Okay. Right. Let's send that. Get the link. Show us the URL. Grab it. Thank you very much. Alternative third party. I actually do have third party heads to hand as well, but I'm actually not sure if I've got the right one. You know what I actually might do, thinking about it. After going to all that effort, I might have some Anvil Industry ones that I can use. Where did they go? Everyone's saying the Feudal head seems to be what's in popular at the moment. Yeah, I think it's the one that's going to be stick closest to the original design. Hang on, what have we got here? Ah, so I do have these ones, but these are like medieval heads from. Here we go, Anvil Industry. Kind of Salis helms. Let's get the focus on those. That's the alternate. These are quite big though, so I'm wondering. You know what actually does work though? That's the strange thing. They actually work quite nicely. Go to the effort of making the pole now. Try a Reaver head. How about the beady head from the medieval helm from that first box? Like knights. I don't actually have any knights. Thinking about it, I actually don't have any that I could use. This is probably the closest one that I've got to knights. These Salis helms, which are basically kind of the equivalent of the Scutari one, but more medieval. Can we see that? Can everyone see that? Yeah, I think we'll go for the Salis helms. I think those are the best ones to go for. I think they kind of fit nicely. Everyone's saying, most people are saying Feudal helm, and I think they're probably the closest ones. They look better, in my opinion, to the Northmen helmets. What did I put them in? So that's, there we go. That's the right order. These are the new ones. So this is the Battle Helmet's head with green sword. Good too, but his chest is pretty much covered at the moment, so there's not much point in that one. Let's go for the Salis helm. I'm just going to drop this one now. I haven't actually had a chance to use these in a conversion, so there we go. I can officially say I've used them now. The neck is definitely too big. He kind of looks like a giraffe man. So trim that back. See how that looks, and then I can. Yeah, it's working quite well actually. I've literally just got boxes and boxes surrounding me at the moment, just because I might need them, and I've just been kind of dipping into a box and just chucking the box to the side. I just need to really sort them out after this stream. There we go. My spot focus is really messing up this evening. I have to keep remembering to refocus every time I move my hands somewhere. Okay, let's go for that one. Use super glue this time. That actually works surprisingly well. I'm quite glad I remembered I had them. There we go. Hello there, Kabuski. I am good, thank you. How are you? Yeah, I actually think I'm quite liking how it's turned out so far. Hopefully it isn't focused, because if it isn't, then that's not very professional of me. Yeah, that was quite nice there, actually. We just need some kind of more Imperial Guardy bits on there. So let's pop those on there, no problem. Pop those on there too. He does need a sword though. I think I can't go doing this without giving him a sword of some sort. Let's put that away, don't need that anymore. As can that go, and that can go. Try to clear some room here. Perfect. Okay, let's just clean this up and we can glue this on. Common start is $4.99. Thank you very much. What do you think a Imperial Knight would look like living on a water world? Examples: Big Daddy from Bioshock or the Mermaid Gundam from G Gundam. I do really like the Bioshock series, and I kind of think that would look pretty cool. So I think, yeah, because I think if you was from an aquatic world, then maybe it would need to be designed so that it could withstand higher pressures. If it was like fighting underneath the water, so I think having like small portholes around the face would work quite nicely. Yeah, that would work quite nicely actually, I think. I'm not sure about the other one, the Mermaid Gundam from G. I'm not really familiar with that one myself, but definitely a Big Daddy vibe. I think that kind of whole deep sea diver aspect would be pretty cool. You give it like a drill or something as well, that would work nicely. Instead of a chainsword. Maybe cyan helmet with a mask. Yeah, I did try the cyan helmets. They looked a little bit too big. I think because they're meant to be used with like the slightly bigger Tempestus bodies, they just look a little bit out of scale. Mark Witkowski, sorry. This is the kit that I'm using. It is the Forgotten Worlds Northmen Warriors kit. It is a plastic kit from Fireforge Game, and it allows you to make these guys. There we go. They do quite a few quite nice kits actually. So yeah, if you're looking for Feudal Guard, very good. Big Daddy would be a Waterworld steampunk knight. Yeah, I think so. It definitely has that kind of aspect to him. I definitely would go down that avenue if I was doing like a Waterworld unit. Okay. That just looks a bit low, that does. I don't think it's just because of the legs or what, but... Okay, that's better. The Mermaid Gundam is absolutely hilarious in appearance. I recommend looking it up sometime. Let's grab my phone. Let's have a quick look. Mermaid Gundam. Okay. So just for anyone who's wondering what the Mermaid Gundam looks like, there we go. Yeah, definitely go for the Big Daddy, in my opinion. Let's just grab the Big Daddy up. I actually have the Bioshock. I'm going to go off on a tangent now. I haven't done it off on this stream. I don't actually have it in my bookshelf anymore. I did have one of the Bioshock art books. I have the Bioshock Infinite one, but yeah, there's some really nice artwork for like Songbird and things like that. Works really nicely for doing like inspirations for like steampunk vibe, Imperial Guard, things like that. So yeah. Yeah, I'm quite liking how we're going so far. I think he needs a sword though. He definitely needs to have some sort of sheathed sword. Is the one on this sprue that we can use? Ah, the Empire Greatsword. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. I wanted to use one of these components anyway, so having this hand is excellent. So I think I can use this instead of the bayonet, because I feel like these guys would maybe be trained to use a sword rather than a bayonet. Yeah, maybe we can use that instead. Valnir the Reaper, good evening. Clean this up before I pop it on the model. I don't think I'll be able to have a chance to finish painting. I think by the time I've actually got my airbrush and everything set up and got them primed. I was hoping the actual build for this model would take an hour because it's not even that big, but I just kind of ended up doing that much back and forth. It looks perfect. It's working. It's coming together, guys. Wonderful. I can attach it to the belt and it just fits really nicely. So he's got another knife on him, but that's fine. There we go. He needs a base. Spears were much more common weapons. Yeah, I think they were, but I think what I like about this guys, and I forgot the name of them again. Let me familiarise myself with the idea. The Praetorian Regiment of Salis. So these guys are maybe a bit more elite. So I feel like these guys would be trained in sword use. I think maybe the more rank and file guys would have probably less ornate equipment, and as a result they'd be trained to use just bayonets, which are basically just turning your weapon into a spear. But yeah, I think for them slightly more elite versions, these guys, it works quite nicely. Yeah. Let's find a base for him. Hi, I'm Paint. Pete, if you need old bits, just shoot me up if you need any, and I'll look what I can do if you ever need any. Shoot me up. Thank you very much for your offer. Yeah, there's obviously a few bits I've kind of managed to acquire over the years, but yeah, still no dead animal bits though. I know, yeah, it's like I can't do it every single time. Can't do it every single time, unfortunately. It just makes it when I do use it that much more special then. So. Okay, so I've got my base. I am still thinking about adding a purity seal onto it, just because it's a bit more of a standard kind of. Did I even trim the feet? I don't think I did. This guy might not glue in place, but we'll see. We'll see and find out. There we go. Okay, yeah, I think that's actually turned out quite nicely if I actually get that autofocus on the guy. Going to about there. There we go. I'm actually quite happy with how he's turned out. I was a little bit unsure about using the last gun originally, just because I felt like it was a little bit too regular Imperial Guardsman, but I think we've been able to make a few adjustments by removing the magazine, swapping out the barrel, adding the kind of the old-fashioned scope to it. It's changed up a little bit. The torso also massively helped this kind of body here. But yeah, if you ever want to have some like really nice alternatives to that needs sorting as well. Because we can't really get Praetorians anymore, if you want that kind of nice feudal look, then that's quite a nice kit to go for. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how this guy's turned out. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone for helping me build this person. But we've got a little bit more time. Is there anything we could do? answer some questions in the chat. I've been kind of neglecting it the last few minutes. Valnir the Reaper, what's your opinion on the new models revealed yesterday? Quite a lot of new models, actually. So we have the Lumineth, which, like the Swordsman are pretty cool. I do find the characters are a little bit over the top somewhat, but yeah. The kind of Swordsman units are quite nice for what they're called. Looking forward to those. Warhammer Quest, very much looking forward to that. Some really nice stuff coming with that one. Lots of conversion opportunities, lots of really nice painting opportunities with those as well. Let's get this guy so you can see him a bit better. I'll use my blue tack as a staging point, just so you can bask in his feudal awesomeness. There we go. Perfect. Scope reminds me of late 19th, early 20th century sniper scopes. Really nice. I think that's exactly what I was kind of aiming for. That whole kind of early, like the scopes that were literally just like a brass tube, just like a really long, like 2 foot long brass tube attached to the rifle, and there wasn't really much in the way of changes in there. What paints do you use? I use a massive amount of paints, really. The ones that I've been using a lot of recently is Vallejo paints. So if you have seen my recent ones like Azrael and the what's the name? The Sigval conversion that I did for a Vampire Lord. A lot of those kind of colours that I used there were mainly Vallejo colours, and then I used a few AK Interactive colours mixed in with that as well. So they're the ones I'm using the most of at the moment. But I also do Army Painter as well. A lot of my historical stuff is still Army Painter. Pete the Wargamer, who is the coolest miniature painter that you have ever met? Ooh, I would say that it's probably I forgot his name now. Is it Richard Gray? He's one of the guys who's, I'm really annoyed with myself if I forget his name. Yeah, Richard Gray, that was it. So he attended the Painters Day that I did a few years ago when I basically got a preview of contrast paint. And honestly, out of everyone that I met that day, there's loads of really good painters, people who've won, as Andy Wardle as well. I think really like his stuff. But Richard Gray's stuff is just like ridiculous. He's like won like crystal brushes and Slayer swords and all sorts of other stuff. He's really kind of modest guy as well. He's like a really quiet guy, but yeah, he's a really excellent painter. So I love watching his stuff. I feel like there are so many over-the-top units, even troops in Age of Sigmar, that everything just starts looking boring if you know. Yeah, I know what you do. I do know what you mean. I think this is what I think the trouble is with Age of Sigmar. Everything's very much, it's very high fantasy. It's almost like higher than regular high fantasy, if you know what I mean. There's not enough of just the generic run-of-the-mill infantry that just hasn't got over-the-top equipment. The one thing, the one army that's been fully released as like a brand new force that's probably the closest to that is, I would say, the Oziarch Bone Reapers. I think they were actually really nice because they had this kind of pseudo-Greco-Roman aesthetic to them, which some people didn't like that aspect for an undead army, but it actually was because each of the units were very bland and you can paint them like very basically. They actually had like more of a run-of-the-mill, but it wouldn't be nice to see some basic humans shown up in the future. Just much more straightforward kind of free guild style. What else? Questions? Quite a lot of questions coming in. Will this come as a bite-sized video as well as to watch more properly since I've mostly been painting? So this will always go on to the stream, onto YouTube. The full stream I don't tend to do bite-sized videos. I might make this into, I might do like more of a quick video, just do like an actual. I film a different tutorial using this as a basis. Maybe we'll see in the future. And be a nice third-party kit bash. There are rumors that Forge World are going to do all of Warhammer Fantasy's old armies like Bretonnians. So this is going to be interesting because this is a few things that this comes up in some of the previous live streams and talks about how Forge World seems to be doing a lot of the box games for Games Workshop. So things like Aeronautica, Adeptus Titanicus, Necromunda, they're all like actual Forge World properties. So they're not actually made by Games Workshop, but Games Workshop own Forge World. Anyway, the studio behind Forge World make them. So they seem to be doing that for a lot of specialist games. So anything that isn't straight up Warhammer isn't straight up like 40k or Age of Sigmar, then it tends to be done by Forge World. So there is a very good chance that Forge World will be doing Warhammer the Old World, which means that we'll see some of the old armies like Britannia in the Kislev, things like that, as Forge World properties. Whether that means that we'll also be getting res and upgrades and things like that, I would like it if it was purely Games Workshop, just because Games Workshop purely do plastic now. And it just makes things a lot cheaper, and it also makes things a lot easier for people like me who like to kit bash. So, fingers crossed, we can hope. Britannians will still cost you organs when Forge World starts selling away. Yeah, I think if they make them out of resin, yeah, but if they make them out of plastic, then it'll be kind of a bit like the Necromunda kits, which are actually fairly reasonably priced for kits with a lot of components in there. Oh, yeah. Do you think there is such a thing as a Sister of Battle tech priest? That's an interesting point, actually, because you could argue that there should be, but I suppose it's the same kind of thing as the Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard don't have specific Imperial Guard tech priests, they just have people on loan to them from the Adeptus Mechanicus. So no, I don't think there would be, but it might be a nice idea of having a Sister of Battle who's a bit more like tech inclined. That'd be pretty good. Looking forward to your Fallen Guide on Friday. Yes, Fallen Guide will be dropping on Friday, all things going well. Hopefully you're going to be doing a Biovore painting guide on Wednesday, so yeah, quite a lot there. And the video, I actually can show you what I've been working on for next Friday, so a couple of weeks. So if you saw the Warhammer community post, we're actually getting the new Kill Team box set released in 2 weeks from yesterday. That's a new Kill Team set. And so I've been doing a Kill Team kit bash. So I'm actually doing an entire kill team in a video, so it's a bit more work than a normal video. So I'm actually doing a Raptors kill team because I just really like how tactical they are. So this is what I have so far. These are 3 of the 5 members. So this is the leader. He's an Eliminator leader. We have an Eliminator Sniper, and one of my favourite things about this guy is you can't really see it because it's not been painted yet, but if you look down here, you can see there's like these little kind of stick things, but they're actually fingers. The autofocus not working. There you go. You can see those there. They're actually little fingers that I've cut from other models, and they're basically other snipers that he's bested, and he takes their trigger finger. And my favourite guy so far is this combat specialist Reaver, who's just got like knife. He's got 2 knives on him. He's got these 2 knives here, and he's got another knife on the back. So he's got 5 knives altogether. So yeah, it's going to be a full guide. You're going to showing you how to do all 5 of the entire kill team in one video. So it might be too much work. I don't know yet. We'll see. Will you be streaming next Sunday? Hopefully, yes. If I can come up with an idea for then yes, we will do. What's your favourite Age of Sigmar kit? I'm not sure. Not sure about that one. I actually really like the Free Guild stuff, which is technically not Age of Sigmar because that came out before Age of Sigmar, so yeah. How loud do you paint their chest with everything stuck in? The trick is, Ben, that you don't. You just spray them with an airbrush and then just paint everything else afterwards. That's all you need to do. What do you think you make? What do you think? You would make a nice Khorne Berserker kit bash? I kind of almost did a Khorne Berserker kit bash with my... was it 5 ways to convert? I don't think it was, actually. Definitely did a Khorne video a while ago. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, definitely did one a good while ago now, actually. It was kind of almost like a Khorne Berserker style thing. It was a Chaos Space Marine, like a Khorne Chaos Space Marine. But yeah, you could use it as a Khorne Berserker if you need to. Kill Team reminds me of Gaunt's Ghost Team. One day these days, Game Drop will bring it back. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the 10th person only units. I'll bring that back. You can just looking at a blank screen there. Oh yeah, so I think we're coming up to 9 o'clock now. I think we're gonna call it a day now. We've done 2 hours. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with how the model came out. It's the feudal style. We've got a few different third-party components in there. We've got Anvil Industries Salis helmets, if you're interested in getting some yourself. And the torso, like I said, was from I've got the box for like the 10th time, is the Northmen Warriors set. So it's from Forgotten World. So if you're interested in picking that up for yourself, I'd highly recommend it. It's a really nice plastic kit. They do like a whole range of knights, and they do some undead and villagers and things like that. So it's a pretty cool set if you're looking for generic 28mm stuff, and it's all in scale with Games Workshop models as well, which is nice. Yeah, so a big thank you to everyone who's joined me for this particular live stream. I will be doing some you promised paint. I didn't promise paint, Ben. I just said that maybe we'll do some painting. Maybe we'll do some painting next stream. We'll see. It was nice to do something non-Space Marine as well this time. So thank you everyone for joining me for this stream. Thank you for the guys who have did super chats, and anyone who's a Patreon supporter as well. Anyone who is just use my affiliates links. That just all adds up a little bit here and there. It just means I can go and buy these kits, and I can experiment a bit as well. So yeah, thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, be sure to check out Discord. The links to everything is always in the description, so check that out. And yeah, until next time, I will have a good week. A couple more videos until the next stream, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys.